Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Mr. Wasim Wasabi, and in this video we'll be looking at the division of complex numbers. Alright, so before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so when it comes to the division of complex numbers, we basically just follow two steps. And these steps are as follow. Step 1, rationalize the denominator. Or let me say the bottom. So the moment you rationalize the bottom, then you are one step. Then step 2, put in standard form. So once you put in standard form, then everything is done. Now basically just by me writing steps doesn't really explain everything that you need to do. So let's jump to some examples and see exactly what we should do. So let's jump to examples. So what they'll basically say is simplify. Alright, so suppose you have question 1 that says 4 plus 3i over 5 minus 2i. So the first step you have to do is to rationalize the denominator, of which you have 4 plus 3i over 5 minus 2i. So you put these in parentheses like that. Then multiply the top and bottom by the conjugate of the bottom. And the conjugate of the bottom is the same thing you have here, but the only thing that will change is the sign that is in between, which is this. So the conjugate is simply 5 plus 2i. Even at the bottom, say 5 plus 2i. So all you have to do now is to collect what? Data. The reason is we are multiplying 4 plus 3i times 5 plus what? 2i. Then at the bottom we're having 5 minus 2i, then times 5 plus what? 2i. So if we for out the numerator, on the numerator you're having 4 plus 3i times 5 plus what? 2i. So 4 multiplies 5 plus 2i, and plus 3i multiplies 5 plus 2i. So the 4 multiplies 5 to get what? 20. Then it multiplies 2 to get 8i. Then 3 multiplies 5 to get 15i. And then 3 multiplies the 2i to get 6i what? Squared. So basically these are like terms. So you're having 20 plus. If you look at the like terms that we have clearly, you end up having a 23i minus 6 what? As not 6i, just 6, because I squared is simply negative 1. So positive 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. So if you collect the like terms, you have 20 minus 6 plus 23i. So 20 minus 6 is basically gives you 14 plus 23i. And this is the value for what? The numerator. Then for the denominator, be mindful of this. Whenever you're multiplying conjugate pairs, just multiply the first with the first and the last with the last. So 5 times 5 is 25. Then negative 2i times 2i will basically give you minus 4i squared. And this is 25. This because I squared is minus, so you're having this. So basically you have 25 plus what? 4, which gives you 29. Now this is true. Others would prefer to do this, which still satisfies what I've said. Minus 2i times 5 plus 2i. So 5 times 5 is 25, because we're multiplying like that. 5 times 2i is simply 10i. This times that, this gives you minus 10i. Times that gives you a minus 4i squared. So you're having 25, these are like terms, so you get a 0 minus 4i squared. So you have 25 minus 4 minus 1, which gives you 20 what? 9. So if you basically get what you had for the numerator, which is 14 plus 23, 14 plus 23i over the bottom, which is 29. This will be your simplified form. But remember, once you rationalize, always put in what? Standard form. So this is going to be 14 over 29 plus 23i over what? 29. And this is your final answer, as simple as it is. So the moment you put in your standard form, then you are safe. So let's try out another example and see to it that we try to understand clearly. So question 2. Say you have 8 over 6 plus I. So you first have to rationalize the denominator. So you're having 8 over 6 plus I. Then to rationalize, we'll multiply by the conjugate of the denominator, which will be 6 minus I over 6 minus I. So you can put these guys in brackets. So if we fall out for the numerator, we're having 8 times 6 minus I, which gives you 8 times 6 times minus I. 8 times 6 is basically 48. Then 8 times minus I is simply minus 8I. Just like that, this would be the answer there. Then data 2, you're having 6 plus I times 6 minus what? I. Remember, the first of the first and the last of the last. So you're having 36 minus I what? Squared, which is the same as 36 minus negative 1, which gives you 36 plus 1, which gives you 30 what? 7. That's the final answer. So basically this will be 48 minus 8I over 37. If you put in standard form, it will be 48 over 37 minus 8I over 37 as your final answer. Alright, let's try out another example. Say you have something as simple as 2 plus 3I over 2 minus I. So basically all you have to do is to rationalize the denominator. So you have 2 plus 3I over 2 minus I. Multiply by the conjugate, which is 2 plus I. Even this side is 2 plus I. You can start up data for the numerator. And you have 2 plus 3I times 2 plus what? I. So you have 2 times 2 plus I. Then you have plus 3I times 2 plus I. If you multiply this times that, you get 4. By that, you get 2I. By that, you get 6I. By that, you get 3I squared. So having 4 like terms, you get a plus 8I. This gives you a minus 3. So you have 4 minus 3 plus 8I. So this is going to be 1 plus 8I for numerator. For the bottom, you can even do it in a simple manner, just know first with first, because it's 2 minus I times 2 plus I. So you're going to have 4 minus I squared, which is just 4 plus 1, giving you a 5. So you're basically having something like 1 plus 8I over what? 5, which is going to be 1 over 5 plus 8I over what? 5. As simple as it is. So be mindful about how to go about this. So this will be the final answer. Let's look at let's look at a question that's a bit tricky, but not really tricky. So this would be basically example number 4. Say you have 3 minus 7I over I. Alright, so you can pause the video and attempt to do it on your own. Alright, so let's get to it. So now, what are we going to do first? Remember, rationalize the denominator. So we're going to be having 3 minus 7I over what? I. So basically, for me to eliminate the bottom, I have to find that I that I can multiply with I to get a number, because rationalizing just simply involves us making the bottom exist as a number and not really what we have as a complex form. So we're just going to simplify this by multiplying by I on top and I at the bottom. So if we do I on top and at the bottom, on top we'll be having I times 3 minus 7I over I times what? I. This times that gives you 3I, and that gives you 7I what? Squared over I squared. Alright, if you recall what I did make mention, I said that I, if you can recall, just recall this, I is equal to root of negative 1. Then I squared is equal to negative 1. I to the third is equal to negative I, and I to the fourth is 1. So basically what you will have is this 3I minus 7 times minus 1 over minus 1. So you have 3i plus 7 over minus 1. This gives you minus 3i. I'm going to say this, simply in a way you can understand. This would be minus 3i, or let me say 3i over negative 1, because we like it in a simple manner, plus 7 over negative what? 1. And this will give you negative 3i minus what? 7. But this is not really the standard form, so the answer will simply be minus 7 minus 3i. And this will be the final answer. So basically all you have to do is just to understand exactly how to rationalize the denominator, because there are many ways you can actually rationalize the denominator. This is just one of the many ways. Alright, let's look at the last example. Say you have 8 over I cubed. This will be 8 over I cubed times a value that I can multiply by I cubed to give me a number will just be I over I. This will be 8i over I to the 4th. And this is 8i over 1, which basically gives you 8i. So basically your answer will be 0 plus 8i. I hope this is clear. If it's not, just try to go through the examples I've highlighted in this video and understand. If you have questions, you can reach me on WhatsApp on the number that I've indicated here, to be precise, or in my description. My name is Mr. Hussein Mosapi. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember to strategize before you become a statistic. Let's try and push for that A+.